Well, morning, zombies. Are we emotionally screwed up and sleep deprived yet? I sure as hell am. It's 5:36 in the morning Pacific Standard Time. It's August 4th, 2023 for Friday, and I'm not even live yet. This is your zombie out here in Rosamond, California. Yeah, I already had my cup of coffee, so it's going through the system right now. I'm a little late when it comes down for getting books regarding my college. Half the stuff I did for one class. Actually, for one particular class, I got both books. And the other one, I didn't. And it was concerning about the Vietnam War. Or Vietnam conflict, if you want to get political correct about the damn shit. But it was a war. It was a war. I think they called the Korean a police action. I didn't see anybody else being arrested, and I didn't see anybody else being arrested in Vietnam except getting slaughtered left and right. I had gone through a Vietnam class at one time, and this particular professor was definitely anti-war of every sort, and he was trying to give it the political viewpoints on the damn thing instead of what really happened over there. I wanted to learn about what the hell happened really over there because to me it was important. I've had relative go over there about three times, three tours. Once as a construction battalion, mechanic, I think, and he saw the actions in his first tour of duty, trying to help build bases and stuff over there. That he saw the christening and he saw the first two units of the Navy's elite over there, SEAL Team 1, SEAL Team 2. Impressed the living crap out of him to the point where he transferred his MO and trained and got in and trained some more, and then he got back into it again. Two tours. He came out, survived, emotionally scarred, but then who wasn't? And he also began a law career in a town in Wyoming. Rock Springs? I think Rock Springs. Uh, to the point where he became a sheriff for a long time, and unfortunately he passed away before I actually had a chance to meet him. An accident. I think he had a farm during that time, also being a sheriff. A tractor overturned, crushed him. Vietnam didn't kill him. Streets didn't kill him. His own tractor did. He says farming isn't safe. Well, take chances when you're dealing with farm equipment, I guess. But this guy impressed the living daylights out of my big brother. He convinced my brother of getting on the straight and narrow. My brother was a goof in school. Didn't exactly obey very much and had to be taught a few lessons one way or another. He went out swimming with my cousins, their family. They always related me to this story every once in a while. Hell, I wasn't even there. And he swam over to one of the buoys off of Bolsa Chica. He got his foot caught in the chain. Couldn't get off. I guess people in the His lifeguards weren't going to get to him in time, but luckily enough that there was a SEAL team training out there. They saw him, rescued him, and took him over to Long Beach. My brother had just met his cousin. The same cousin who went out from Construction Naval Battalion to Naval Special Warfare. UDT / Naval Special Warfare. And he impressed upon my brother that if he could do well in school, I mean, really bust his ass in his grades, get him up, and work out like crazy, he too could be in the Navy. My brother was so impressed. He had the idea of being a Navy frogman because his cousin really impressed that upon him. And he trained. We lived in an apartment at one time. I think it was when I was born. Maybe about, oh, one or two, I think. We had a swimming pool right in the middle of the apartment. He would train up. He would swim up and down, up and down, and up and down. Sometimes he'd go in the water. I mean, to the deepest end. He was acclimating himself. He struggled with the school. He struggled with his grades. And yeah, he did graduate out of elementary and junior high and high school. I guess they weren't high enough to go into the Air Force. He didn't want to be in the Air Force. He wanted to be in the Marines. But his fate would have him. Navy got him. Navy got him. Ma wasn't too happy about it. She didn't want my brother to go in the military. Ma was a little pissed off about that. But it was David's decision and it was already done. And at the time when this was happening here, it had been years later since that impressionable situation happened that we lived in Arleta in a 4-bedroom house with 5 people in it. My mother, 2 elderly ladies, my brother, and me. Mama. Oh, she wasn't happy about it, but no. I remember that night, or that early in the morning, it was getting me out of bed about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And we're driving down towards Hollywood, or somewhere in that area, or Los Angeles. They had the recruitment center out there. There was other guys out there. And I'm wondering what the hell's going on. We're losing my brother. My brother's going out to the Navy. Oh. He kept talking about it from time to time about who was going to be going, and one ear out the other ear. It was too damn early in the morning. 5 o'clock, my mom and I are at Denny's after seeing David off. We're getting breakfast. I didn't see him again until maybe he actually had leave and came home. Or actually, I'll take that back. Graduated out of boot camp. Different connections in my head reminds me of stuff. The class I'm about to take in this fall is about the Vietnam War in a different perspective. And different books, and different materials to listen to throughout the rest of this week that I need to get myself up to speed on. So I can understand the nature of our class, besides the political crap that my brother and I, in our later adult life, my first time going through classes at the Antelope Valley College, and it was the same class my brother and I were taking. In this particular class, we had a war protester. He didn't like the Vietnam War. He preferred the communist version of it, sanitized version, but he was still trying to give us the information necessary on it. There were a few other Vietnam veterans in the class. They're getting pissed off at this guy. Some of the films that he would show would trigger PTSD in a lot of people. The students were like, some of these films that we saw were back in the 80s and 90s, or late 70s and 80s. How people were being treated and how they were dealing with it. Uh, you know, Movies you see out there in the theaters about it. Those movies were triggering things in the vets to the point where they left the class. Now, my brother couldn't write or shit, but he'd give me the information and put them in notes. I'd do the writing for him. I'd do the writing for him. Be his ghostwriter. I mean, he gave me the notes necessary, so basically he'd get credit for the damn thing. I'd just title it for him, and he'd do it. And I'd do my own paper. I'd base it off of my brother. Not off of his work, but off of my brother and what he did in the military. I mean, there was a major paper we had to do at the end. One paper. Passed him. But apparently the instructor got his ass reamed because the book's material said who was presenting was not authorized by anybody. Those who left the class still got full credit for it. Those who got into the class got full credit for it. He was barred from teaching the Vietnam War ever again. I don't know if they got rid of the guy or not. He was trying to be funny. He was trying to be cute with the kids, and the kids were like, his jokes were so dated. I mean, I was seeing cobwebs on the damn thing. My brother and I would be groaning in our heads, not because we had amused ourselves, but because this guy was a royal asshole. So I jumped at the chance this time, this semester, when the class comes up. The instructor, I know. I've taken a couple of his classes. I know this guy. Not um, when you go into a professor's class and you spend time talking with the professor, you get a little bit of a relationship, you get a little bond going on, you get to understand a little bit of what the guy's all about. He was a lot older than I was, but we still chewed similar dirt. He hadn't been in war. At least I'm not quite sure if he had been or not. But his way of looking at history was a lot better than the other Vietnam professor, so it's going to be interesting seeing his class. It's going to be online. It's probably going to be videos and stuff, but that's okay. I'll struggle with it anyway. I prefer in person sometimes. After being here in about almost 2 years of looking at a damn computer screen and talking to teachers on here, sometimes you do need the personal touch with the instructors. Not You just have to be in the presence, and you got to have eye contact with them, and you got to feel like you're part of them. I miss them. So one particular English class is going to be in person, and then the other class is going to be online. But at least it's with an instructor I know and feel comfortable with. David L. Lewis, this guy. I took him for a U.S. history class, part one and part two. This was a professor everyone loved. Some of them couldn't actually understand the guy, but I did. Oh, I heard and I listened. And I felt comfortable. When you get into a class and you deal with a professor and you start really admiring the living crap out of this guy, when you actually have a lot of respect for this guy, you feel like you're comfortable and you're okay, you can deal with this. You can deal with anything else he's going to throw at you. You're ready, you're prepared, and you're going to do everything else you can. That's what I did. I'm looking forward to it. I'm driving myself crazy over it, but every time there was class coming up, and there was like a break, either winter or summer, you know, you have maybe about 6 to 8 week for winter. Sometimes they'd had classes, at least nearly a decade ago, for the winter session as well as for the summer session. 4 or 5 weeks for the winter session, actually. Like take off the entire month and partially of January. And then you get back into it. They switch the schedules around. Sometimes it's no winter break, but you get in there and get the job done and get out. They still got summer. 8 weeks of roasting in the sun and heat. About a month and a half, nearly 2 months. But when you take about nearly a year off, I took time off from school because I couldn't deal with it. Not the school itself and not the learning itself. No, that wasn't what I meant to say. It's right after when my brother passed in 2018, things become harder and harder. I mean, the first year, or a year and a half, you struggle a bit, but then COVID kicks in, and I was struggling like crazy trying to deal with the online shit. But when we did have the in-person classes, I was focusing more on that instead of my own brother's demise, and I wasn't focusing on the grief. But the COVID kicked in, locked us all in, so it's like started the incubation process of how to deal with the grief and how to deal with the mourning and how it tore me apart left and right. But I still managed to deal with class. And then when the quarantine got over, 16 weeks of going back into class physically, seeing the changes that they actually had on the campus, kind of changed me a bit, kind of stressed me out a bit. Still does. I'm not liking the new classes. I like the old classes better. I got used to them. Got comfortable. Now I got to get past the comfort level and just focus on the study. And I always get myself rattled so damn badly with the damn grieving in the morning. It was starting to amplify that I had to take time off from school. I tell you something, I hate it. Leaves me stir crazy at times. Not this week, but next week, I get back in. And I get to go into an area where I get to study. It's not like I was a complete bookworm. You know what the YouTube videos they've got going on right now? Those things help me out a bit. Because the material I see presented in print, I can listen to the instructors, go back and forth to get the information necessary. I did that for the other classes in the past few semesters. In fact, I can't really understand the damn shit. I know I probably could, but if they got the YouTube and the video, I can listen to the damn thing and hear it. I had to do that for a couple of classes. I'm still apprehensive. I still got the doubts going through the head at this point over here. I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to do this shit or not. I'm wondering whether or not if I'm actually going to be able to get through college or not. But I can't let that stop me. I don't want that to be something that's really going to hold me back at this point. Because knowing that it's going to be holding me back. And I'm not looking forward to this shit. I'll tell you the truth. Honest to God, I'm not. Soured. I gotta get the bottle washed. I never knew what a life of a college student would be when I was going through school, except it was just going through school. You get the materials, you hear the lecture, you try to take notes as much as possible without falling asleep or screwing up in class. You get back home and you try to study as hard as you could. If you're not working your ass off at the same damn time, paying for things. Yeah, I know what it's like to struggle and study. Sometimes bring your book to school so you can get a little information there. A few minutes here and a few minutes there while you're in between doing a job. Not the easiest damn thing to do, I'll tell you that much. So I heard some of the arguments when I was going through Pierce. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm going through college. I'm going through jobs. I'm burning them up left and right. You're a dumb kid. What do you expect? Expect to be the smartest tool in the whole place? Not really sometimes. Didn't work all that well. But struggle as I did. And I didn't do too well because I didn't put, I don't know what the hell it was. I mean, I think it was maturity during that time. I think my mindset really wasn't into it. I mean, I should have been, but it's like coming out of high school into another level, and it's like, now what the hell am I supposed to do? You're supposed to graduate college. I thought you were smart. I heard the arguments in my head on this one. And if Ma was going to say it, she'd say it in her head, but she wouldn't say it out of her mouth. Was I really the smartest one between me and my brother? I thought my brother was. I was a parrot. I'd go into bookstores, get stuff, read the stuff, and be a parrot. I was doing things by rote. It wasn't sticking. There was no context, no perspective on the damn thing. That was the thing about school. You did things by rote. You learned the shit, you repeat the shit. You got out. And the same thing like college. How I looked at it. I didn't think of it as a growing experience. I didn't think of it as expanding my brain during that time. I really didn't think that school mattered that much. And to think of it is, it did. It should have. I mean, I did the hindsight for over 30 plus years, kicking my ass off while going to different job sites and seeing people who've graduated out of school getting higher paychecks and higher positions. I mean, I'm still stuck as a schlub. I mean, yeah, I was feeling jealous about it, envious about it, and also kicking my ass at the same time because I was resenting myself over this damn shit. Why wasn't I smart enough to go through this shit? Work your ass off at different jobs. Different temp jobs, different part-time jobs, and a few full-time jobs if you're lucky enough. And if the full-time jobs actually lasted longer than 90 days, I think you were doing great. If it lasted about a year, then you were surviving. If it lasted about a year and a half, maybe you were going lucky. And if it lasted about 5 or 6 years, you're going to go for burnout. Other people had career. Other people wanted to go for management, leadership. Fuck it, I just wanted a damn paycheck. Give me the damn paycheck, and I'm still going to survive on it. That was my perspective at times when I was working my ass off. I'm working for the damn paycheck. Because I got bills to pay, I got a rent to deal with, and I got the family to deal with. I got a family to support. Ma's job and running her business. If she was physically and mentally able to do the clients, she'd do it. And my brother kept killing himself at different jobs and damn near broken himself in different jobs. Started off in the Navy breaking his ass and breaking his back and his knees. Getting shot. Yeah. Shit he did in the Navy. I tell him to go. He went. He did. Get injured. He trained. He get injured. He got in the Navy and goes to different jobs. He get injured. Trying to kill his body while still maintaining, well, trying to keep his physique and then trying to do shit and takes a toll on the human body where everything else was breaking down on him left and right, including his brain. Life and its toll on us. But he did. He wasn't griping or grumbling about life. A few other things, yeah, but he struggled like the rest of us did. Struggle gets worse and worse every time I get older and older, every morning. Sometimes mentally, sometimes physically, sometimes both. Other days I'm able to work around the house. But it doesn't mean I'm going to be able to go to a 9 to 5 job and kick my ass out, or do a 4 hour gig somewhere. It requires you to have 100% brain and body. I ain't got it. I'm a broken down old piece of shit. But I go to college to fill the old noggin up. To learn things I hadn't and to feel part of it. Part of something I should have been a long time ago and still kicked my ass for over 30 fucking years. Here's to it all.